Every year, the National Weather Service issues around 1,200 tornado warnings across the United States. In 2024, the National Weather Service issued around 1,728 tornado warnings between March and May alone, reflecting a particular active severe weather season. In addition to tornado warnings, the NWS also issues numerous tornado watches and severe weather outlooks each year to alert the public about potential severe weather conditions. For example, in 2020, only 10 tornado watches were issued during the month of May, the fewest on record since 1970. These warnings, watches, and outlooks play a critical role in protecting lives and property by providing advance notice of dangerous storms. However, recent budget cuts has raised serious concerns about the NWS's ability to continue issuing these life-saving alerts. In this video, we'll be breaking down a few questions. What does NOAA and the National Weather Service do? How do these budget cuts impact public safety? And how can the public support NOAA and the National Weather Service? And more. To help answer these questions, we'll be joined by Andy Hazleton, a scientist who worked at the National Weather Service and was directly affected by these budget cuts, as well as storm chaser Joshua Evans, who has seen firsthand the importance of timely warnings.
Hi there. Just wanted to talk about what's been going on with us probationary folks at NOAA and my role specifically, and hope to answer some of these questions. So I was at the Environmental Modeling Center, which is under the National Weather Service, as a federal employee. I've been there since October. Prior to that, I was for 6 years a CI, or kind of like a contractor, but through the University of Miami. Cooperative Institute for Marine and Atmospheric Studies. So, working for NOAA, but through the University of Miami on the hurricane analysis and forecast system. And then 2 years before that, I was at Princeton University in GFDL. So I've been with NOAA for over 8 years, 8 9 years now, in various roles, working on hurricane modeling and development. And so, part of the HAFS team, and started to expand that into things like the GFS and looking at hurricanes in that until last week happened.
All right. So my name is Joshua Evans. I am from Troy, Alabama. I'm a storm chaser. Got into this as a kid. Been doing it since I was about 9 years old. I'm 22 now, so I've been doing it for 14 years. Currently chase with Spark Service. Um, this takes me everywhere, so I've seen all parts of the U.S. due to this passion of mine. Sooner or later, I plan on going and getting a degree in atmospheric science. So maybe one day I can forecast.
The National Weather Service, or the NWS, is part of NOAA and is responsible for predicting the weather and warning people about dangerous storms. Their main goal is to keep people safe by providing accurate forecast and severe weather outlook and life-saving alerts. According to NOAA, the NWS provides weather and climate forecast and warnings for the United States, its territories, ocean areas, and waters to protect the life, property, and enhance the national economy. Simply put, the NWS tracks weather and warns people when tornadoes, hurricanes, floods, blizzards, and other dangerous weather are approaching. One of the most important jobs is maintaining and operating a network of Doppler weather radars, which helps meteorologists see storms in real time. Without these radars, we wouldn't be able to detect severe weather as quickly, and warnings would be far less accurate. But the NWS does much more than just issue warnings and forecast every day. They also develop and run weather models, which are powerful computer programs that predict where when, and how storms will happen. These models use massive amount of data to forecast hurricanes, thunderstorms, and other extreme weathers in days in advance. Another key job of the NWS is launching weather balloons several times a day. These balloons carry special instruments that measure temperature, humidity, wind speed, air temperature as they rise high into the atmosphere. This data is critical for understanding how storms develop and making forecasts more accurate. The work of the NWS affects everyone from me, you, emergency responders, and everyday people who just want to know if they need an umbrella. Their warnings save countless lives every year by giving people time to prepare for severe weather. Without the NWS, I don't know what it would be like if we didn't have early warnings. Their work is essential, and I don't know what we would do without them.
For the storm chasing aspect, if it wasn't for these offices, I wouldn't be able to do what I do, whether it's chasing tornadoes and thunderstorms, snowstorms, blizzards, or even hurricanes. Um, a lot of my information that I use to forecast and set myself up for all of that comes from these offices. The National Weather Service not only does local outlooks, they also house the weather modeling data that we currently use, everyone uses. Matter of fact, all of our information for broadcast media comes from the National Weather Service, NOAA, and the SPC. Um, and if it weren't for that, it would be a lot harder to actually get proper messaging out and just overall forecasting in general. Um, Also, these agencies house radars. They do the Hurricane Hunter flights. They do upper air analysis, soundings and stuff real time. And without all of that, our life would be a lot harder in general, not only for me, but for the public too, because indirectly, as a result of all of this being threatened, now safety for the public is threatened. Um, in general, if we weren't able to get proper forecasts out, or in some cases, like some agendas are saying, privatize, you know, a lot of people just wouldn't be able to spend the money to do it, or just not get anything. And I mean, me myself, I don't even like paying $20, $30 a month for my Hulu. I don't know how I would feel currently paying anything to get the information that I currently get for free. I mean, all of this data that we get, all of these outlooks, all of these discussions, we get them for free currently, and now that's currently at stake. So this is not just my career at risk or threatened. This is the safety of millions in harm's way.
Our next question we are answering today is, how do budget cuts, like the ones that happened earlier this year, affect NOAA and the National Weather Service? And also, how do they affect public safety? I asked Joshua Evans and Andy Hazleton these questions.
Being threatened, now safety for the public is threatened. Um, in general, if we weren't able to get proper forecasts out, or in some cases, like some agendas are saying, privatize, you know, a lot of people just wouldn't be able to spend the money to do it, or just not get anything. And I mean, me myself, I don't even like paying $20, $30 a month for my Hulu. I don't know how I would feel currently paying anything to get the information that I currently get for free. I mean, all of this data that we get, all of these outlooks, all of these discussions, we get them for free currently, and now that's currently at stake. So this is not just my career at risk or threatened. This is the safety of millions in harm's way.
Okay, so the next question would be, or is, what are some of the risk of storm chasing if the forecast models and weather warnings and all that are less reliable, especially if they do privatize and all that for storm chasing and public needs, really.
Going going back to what I was saying, I mean, starters for chasing radars would be pretty much paywall. Most people that chase don't understand what they're looking at in the field. They can't just look in the horizon, see towers off in the distance on thunderstorms, and be like, "Hey, that's a pretty strong storm." A lot of them also don't know what they're looking at in real time, especially down here in Dixie Alley. Things are usually just rain wrapped a lot, so we relied on radar a lot to be able to actually understand what we're looking at and position ourselves safely. If we weren't able to do that, we probably have a lot more chaser accidents in general. Not to mention the fact that the radar thing again, especially down here in Dixie Alley, we don't always know what we're looking at as spotters, or we have trees in the way, or in the mountains where tornadoes sometimes occur. Out in California or over here in the southern Appalachians, we have mountain ranges in our way. Sometimes we can't always see what's going on with the storm, so we rely on radar pretty heavily. And right now we have issues with radar as it is, but we mitigate it how we can. If we didn't have access to this stuff, us and everyone else would be at risk. Not only that, public messaging would probably be really stunted for a while. Um, Pretty much all broadcast media gets their information and their updates and their things they're looking at for the day from the National Weather Service and the Storm Prediction Center and the Hurricane Center. Um, those are transferred to be made understandable by the public, and then they show it on TV. They show it on the live streams and stuff that you see on YouTube. And we weren't able to do that reliably. We probably have a lot of issues in terms of letting you guys even know what's going on. We also wouldn't be able to forecast right because we have multiple different modes of storm. Not to mention blizzards and stuff. Snow squall warnings, ice warnings, stuff like that. It would make travel really hazardous. Not to mention, say a hurricane's coming and someone just doesn't know because they can't, you know, see it on TV or on YouTube, right? Like I already know people who just don't leave in general, but there are people who do leave because they get that warning. What if they can't get that warning somehow, or they just don't hear about it somehow? That's a pretty major issue that would come from privatizing the National Weather Service and all the data that they give us. So that's something that not only has been on my mind, but a lot of my friends and partners that I've worked with over the past year and a half since we started hearing rumors about that.
Going forward. I'm worried that we're going to have degraded ability to forecast, not just hurricanes, but severe weather and global weather, winter, everything, fire weather. The colleagues that were affected by this were working across the board on a variety of things. I had people, flight directors that help with the hurricane flights. People at the tsunami warning center and people working on severe weather modeling, ocean modeling. It was across the board, and we're going to see degradations there, and then that'll impact public safety negatively because we've seen huge improvements over the last 10 to 15 or 20 years, and I don't want that to reverse, but we do run some risk if this decision is upheld. And like I said, I think a lot of weather service offices are also understaffed. We're understaffed even before this happened, and now that's going to get even worse. Places are having to cut back on things like volunteer opportunities, internships, which degrades our ability to help the next generation of students and build up, our scientific capabilities. And there's going to be fewer people available to.
So, in this part of the video, we'll be talking about what has been affected already Now, yes, it has only been about a month since the first rounds of budget cuts and people getting people's contracts getting terminated, but there is some stuff that has already been affected. A big thing so far has been soundings, what a lot of people won't really notice because soundings aren't really a big thing you'll hear about in media, and like mainly most people who would actually be using soundings are meteorologists, weather enthusiasts, storm chasers, and all the actual people who do this as a kind of hobby or job. And so the biggest thing is there's right now there'll be a before the budget cuts about a month ago, and the second image that's popping up is showing with it now. You will notice there's a lot less soundings in areas. Now, yes, some areas will still be showing soundings on severe weather days, but most of the time you will not be getting soundings, what is affecting going to start affecting weather models and how accurate like the GFS, Euro, and all of them are. And that is a big thing that's already going to be happening. Other than that, we have not had any big effects because it's only been like a month, but I do expect coming into you'll probably notice some other effects from how weird models are showing and not being more accurate than they usually are. And other than that, so far nothing really has been affected from what I've known. And if anything else, just comment below what if anything I've missed in this video so far. We still have our fourth statement. What is going to be what can you as the public like help and support the NWS, NOAA, and everyone else. We've already had places like at the NSL at at OU. There was already a big thing with a bunch of sticky notes that showed a bunch of support messages just to them, and the support and really a lot been Andy Hazleton, who helped a lot in this video, has been really outspoken about it, what I love about him so far. And now we're going to go into a interview about from Joshua Evans and Andy Hazleton of what they say to how to support them, and of course both of their Twitter profiles and Joshua Evans's YouTube channel is going to be in the link in the description.
We definitely encourage people to reach out to their representatives and make that known. So appreciate the community support. It means a lot, and thanks.
To start, go to your local congressman and congresswoman. Um, write to your local officials, your governors. Let them know that this is not something that you want. Because it affects everybody, especially in the United States in general. This affects everybody. Um, just let them know that you don't support it. In my case, if my Congress people don't fight back against this, I'm not voting for them again. Um, in some cases, I've seen people peacefully protest. You can do that. Let your voice be heard in any way that you can that you don't like this. Say the NWS has been trending on Twitter. You can also, just let them know that they have your support in general. Even if you don't want to be in the movement, you can let them know that you support them in any way you can. In terms of chasers, have their back. A lot of people, including me, not to sound like I have a savior complex, I got into this because I wanted to help people in the little way that I could. And so do many other people that I know, whether they're chasers, they're forecasters, broadcast media. Most of us got into this because deep down we want to do what we can to help maybe save a life or two. Um, One person can make a difference, and show your support to your chasers. You don't even have to just donate. Um, just as simple as spreading their content in general, or just popping in stream, watching for a couple seconds, and then leaving. Another way you can do it is if you do feel generous on most streams, you can donate. A few have Patreons, and they'll let you know, but you don't have to feel inclined to or support us financially. Most of us have jobs; we do that ourselves. Um, just let us know that you care about us and everyone else in the field. You know, I stand with every single person I've ever worked with, and hopefully soon to work with when I eventually do go back and get my degree, and hopefully one day work at the National Weather Service. But in the process, my future dream career is now at stake. So this is affecting me as well.
I asked Joshua Evans if he had anything to say before the video ended. And well, he did.
I mean, spread this around, get the message out, get it from our perspectives. And in general, just stay weather aware. Have a nice day, and I hope you're doing well.
First thing, a personal note is this video was supposed to come out like 2 weeks ago, and then I didn't work on it for 2 weeks. So very funny part. And that's just me being me, I guess. But wish it could have came out sooner. But special thanks to Joshua Evans and Andy Hazleton and Lappity on Twitter for the radar loops, and Andy Hazleton and Joshua Evans for, of course, the interviews. They were really good baseline of what to talk about in the video. Special thanks to Elijah Joyce for giving me a lot of information. Not even he didn't help on the video, but him just posting all this stuff. Special thanks to uh I have no idea. There isn't a special thanks for that one last person because that's all. But it was a very interesting video to create, and I'm excited for people to be able to watch it when it comes out Tuesday. I'm recording this on Sunday night at 4 in the morning. I don't know if I'm going to leave this all in, but it's just, again, special thanks to Andy Hazleton, Joshua Evans, especially Joshua Evans. He has been a big help. He has been in contact with me since the day one of me trying to write this and do all this. If you want to know who proofread this, no one. So, no idea if this worked. I would love if you would comment below if how you liked it. I'm not gonna tell you what parts were scripted, but there were some parts that were like the beginning parts were definitely scripted. So that's all for today, folks. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment below any suggestions of what we should talk about next. I think that's all for now. And of course, go show some love to the special people we did special thanks for earlier. And don't forget to stay informed, stay weather aware, and if you're a storm chaser, never stop chasing. Good night, y'all.